The Celtics do not get a shot away. And the New York Knicks, written off as a championship contender midway through this season, have just recorded 3 extraordinary victories on the road to put themselves up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Back-to-back 20-point comeback wins. And the most stunning postseason round in NBA history continues, with the road team winning all 6 games. The final score, New York 91, Boston 90. And for the Celtics to keep their title defense alive, the greatest road team in NBA history is going to have to make some magic in an extraordinarily hostile environment.
On this, what do you do here? Celtics have blown 20-point leads in back-to-back games. They have not knocked down shots, and at time you wondered if their coach is being outcoached. And Jason Tatum, although helping out on the boards, not scoring to his potential. So I'm sure people are upset. And, well, this has been the place to talk about the Celtics this year. And, well, I have always said the Celtics get out to big leads, and the teams tap out. The New York Knicks are yet to do that. Cerrone Battle joining us here on the Sports Hub. Cerrone, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing all right, Joe. I'm doing all right. I've been better.
We're gonna try to run on Missoula.
Okay.
So I'll get a couple of things out of the way because we're already being attacked, Cerrone. So, we didn't shoot the basketballs tonight, you and I, right?
Oh, we're getting it to me and you?
Oh, boy. So
what did we do?
I would just like to say you and I did not shoot the basketballs tonight. And we did not coach the game. You know what I mean? We're not the ones getting out-coached in the series.
Why are they attacking us? I didn't even say anything yet. I'm probably in 100% agreement with them. What are they getting on us for?
I mean, what choke job was worse, last night or tonight, or 2 nights ago or tonight?
Same game. It's the same thing. I mean, you might have say, at least they went to overtime the last game, but I think tonight is it's the same situation. I mean, the game played out exactly the same. Both 20-point leads, dominant going to the paint early in the game. Holiday, Jaylen Brown just feasting on the low block on the Knicks guards. Second half, they just stopped. That's it. I mean, Drew Holiday defended by Brunson in the fourth quarter. I think from the 7-minute mark on, Brunson came back in. He never took a shot. Holiday did not attempt a single shot on Brunson in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown dominant in the paint. Holiday dominant in the paint in the first half. Second half total, I think they took 5 combined shots inside the foul line. The whole half. Up 20 is when you do it. And all of a sudden they just said, nah, you know what? Let's just go back and prove to everybody that we can hit these threes. And it just, the same thing happened. The only difference was game 1, it was OG. Game 2, it was Bridges. But it played out exactly the same way. And they just got outbeaten every possible way in this game.
What bothered me more than anything, third quarter, about 4 minutes to go, it was like they were just trying to get into the fourth quarter and coast. They went 0 for 4. I don't know what they were doing as far as substitutions. New York got back in the game. And then, so again, I know that the coach wasn't out there shooting the shots and missing them either, okay?
He was telling them to do it, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right, because again, I want to be very critical because this is the 2 worst losses of the season. They're 40-1 or 40-something-1 when they're up by 16 points or more this year. This is unheard of. I just saw a stat, Cerrone, that no team has come back from 20 points down on the road in 25 years and win both games. So it's like this is we're watching something that's never happened before. This is bad. This is bad.
It is bad. And the thing is, when you look up, you're like, man, the Knicks, what effort? What all of the Knicks? Look at the Knicks. Man, they scored 91 points. They didn't do anything special at all. Any team scores 91 against the Celtics is usually an L, and it's been that way for a few years now. They only scored 91 points. I can see if the Knicks went out there, scored 125, 130 points, and we just on fire. But they didn't. They only scored 91 points. You just didn't do anything. You just sat there and watched them just creep back in it. Again, just I have no words for it. I mean, I know it's the radio business. I got to have something to say. I have no words for what I watched in that second half. And if the whole building and the millions of people watching are screaming at the TV, stop shooting threes, go to the basket. Reggie Miller kept saying, oh, they're now, 20 for their last 100 threes or whatever it was. Go to the basket. When you got Porzingis standing there and he's got Brunson on him on the switch, give it to him. When Al Horford has Hart on him off a switch under the basket, give it to him. Tatum, you want easier buckets? Stop trying to dribble from 30 feet out. Catch it under the basket. That way you don't have to dribble at all and get the layup. We know it works because that's what worked for this team in the first half. Brown got off to a flying start doing that. Holiday did it. Derek White going to the basket and one. It was all working going to the basket. And they kept saying how much of man, look at the game plan is to attack. And then you come out and you stop again. And like I said 2 days ago, Joe, when the whole team does it at the same exact time, that's game plan. That's strategy. That's coaching. If one guy does it, I get it. But when the whole team does the same thing at the same time, you got to look no further than the coach. And at one point late in the fourth quarter, Missoula was sitting down on the bench and he didn't stand up and he didn't say anything. He was just sitting there like trying to be like a hard parent. Like, nope, you're going to learn from your mistakes on your own. No, now is not the time to be sending messages to your team about toughness. No, he should have called the timeout and drew up some plays to get to the basket. And now it's too late. So I can't wait to see what he has to say about this.
Yeah. I know that the Celtics struggled to shoot. Jason Tatum had another, unlike Tatum night as far as scoring goes. Jaylen Brown got cold. The Porzingis had to come off the bench. I'm not giving any excuses. It's hard for me not to put this one on Missoula. It's hard. And I'm thinking about the team down 2-0. Cerrone, I've watched other teams. I've watched the old Big Three go down 2-0 in series. I've watched, Kevin Garnett and that team go down 2-0 and come back in series. So the series isn't over. I'm just shocked in the way that they've lost.
Yeah.
20. And I think you're going somewhere with this. I'm wondering if the players are starting to, or I wonder if what the players are thinking after the game. Like, do they want to continue to play this style? It works in the first half, doesn't it? It works early on. It got you through the third quarter.
Built a 20-point lead doing
exactly.
It.
But like, what's going on there? And to me, that's coaching. And you know what? Did Joe Missoula put his team in the best situation to win the game in the final seconds? No, he didn't. And I blame him for that.
He didn't put him in a chance to win a position to win the game the whole second half, Joe. And there was so many. I mean, even the fouling of Mitchell. You're just going to keep fouling and putting the Knicks over the limit. And as soon as they got in the bonus, they took them out the game. You played right into their hands. And once Thibodeau said, no, leave them out there. They're going to keep fouling them. It's like, yeah, you're going to put them over the limit, and Brunson's going to draw fouls and get to the line. And that's exactly what happened. That's a bad coaching decision. Tatum, I understand people want to get on here and say, Tatum. I get it. The stars always get the blame. Tatum was awful shooting the basketball all night. But guess when he was really awful? When they were up 20 points. His bad shooting didn't affect them when they were up 20 points because hey, we're winning. We're playing the team game. It didn't affect them. The Knicks actually came back when Tatum got going. I think he scored 7 points in the third quarter or something like that. He hits the three. He gets a dunk in the lane. He gets a layup. Quick 7 points. But guess what? The Knicks were on his heels. Fourth quarter, Tatum gets the free throws, and he gets the dunk to take the lead. That's when the Knicks were really rolling. But when Tatum was off and he wasn't forcing the issue, that's when they were up 20 points because everybody else was getting buckets. They were spreading the ball around. They were harder to defend. It's like, man, if he's not going, Porzingis didn't have it going early. That's when the Celtics were up 20 because they weren't predictable. You didn't know what they were going to do. It was Derek White. It was Holiday. Pritchard got going again. You saw no Pritchard late in the game. Everybody had it going, and it was a 20-point lead. And then for some reason, Joe, they just stopped doing what worked. And it drives me crazy. I get they were getting open threes. Tatum had a three open in the corner late in the game. It was like a minute left, 2 minutes left. Wide open. Bodies were on the ground. You know what would have been a better shot? No one was around. Oh, let me just take one dribble. I got a dunk. Tatum would get from the three-point line to the baseline to the rim on one dribble. We've seen him do it. Several times tonight they could have done that, got layups, put this team away. But it was like, no, this is what we do. Let's just keep doing it. And not a single coach over there looked over and said, no, don't do that again. Let's get layups. And that's the most frustrating part about this. You're making, Thibodeau out to be, Pat Riley out there coaching. And he's not. The Knicks were a mess, but you let them hang around.
Thibodeau is out coaching Joe Missoula. Fact.
Yes.
Fact. So
it's not that hard.
It's not. And let's talk to two coaching scenarios, right? How about you just gave up, what was it? You were down 1.
Mm-hmm.
They called the timeout. Missoula came up with the play.
Wide open, easy dunk in the lane.
It was just a one-on-one Tatum bully dunk, right? Was it a dunk? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they went down, but because Joe Missoula wanted to put the Knicks and hack whatever his face was, the horrible free throw shooter guy there, they put how many bunnies at the line did Jalen Brunson get?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tip my cap to New York. They did everything right. They made every play. They won the 50-50 balls. They got and ones. I don't want to discredit anything New York did. They were awesome.
Yeah, Bridges was fantastic in the fourth quarter.
Final play though, the no timeout thing. Is it on Tatum? I don't know. I mean, Tatum went to the bucket, right? It was 1-on-5.
Yeah.
If he gives up the ball, do we criticize him? If he doesn't, the coach didn't put Tatum in this. I'm not defending Jason Tatum. I don't think the coach put him in the best situation.
No, I mean, the Knicks put their best defenders on the court. They put a big lineup on the court. And if you know, I said this in the last game, the reason Tatum's percentages are lower and everybody else is able to eat is because they're saying Tatum's not going to be the one to beat us. Everybody else is going to have to beat us. It's almost when Tatum gets the ball, especially on the wings, far out as a three-point line, they almost jump into a zone. There's a guy on him in his face. There's a guy to his left or to his right, and then there's a third guy kind of standing outside the box so he won't get a defensive three, waiting for him. So it's almost 1-on-3 when he has the ball. And that's why you see him swinging around, and then there's always somebody wide open on the opposite side, on the weak side, for the corner threes or for the one-on-one post-ups, which Holiday and Brown took clear advantage of in the first half. That's why Tatum is getting these. He's always got a man there. Every shot is contested for him. And they get that. That's what you're supposed to do to superstar players. The Celtics did it to Brunson. Brunson shot a horrible percentage tonight because they said somebody else besides Brunson has to beat us. And early in the game, it was Hart. Fourth quarter, it was Bridges. The Knicks did it to the Celtics. Tatum's not going to beat us. Early in the game, it was Jaylen Brown. It was Al Horford. Holiday. Fourth quarter, nobody else was able to do it. So when you start missing all those shots, the lane gets tighter and tighter. So when Tatum tries to drive, there's always going to be somebody there. You mentioned a good point. Tatum gets the dunk in the lane because they called timeout. They ran out of play and stretched the court out. Al Horford set a screen for Tatum almost at half court. So now he has a running start with a wide open lane, and there isn't anybody in the NBA that can stand in front of Tatum when he's got, a head of steam coming down, full speed one-on-one. Quick in and out move, goes by Mitchell, dunk. That's there all night when you're hitting shots and the floor is spread. But that play at the end of the game, when it was 5 seconds, 4 seconds, and you're looking at everybody all jumbled together, Missoula should have just said timeout. Timeout here. Let's get something here. Let's drop something quick. We only need one here. And they just sat there and said, well, we're just going to ride it out and see what happens. And they couldn't get a shot off because there was 3 defenders standing in front of Tatum when he took that shot.
And I'm sure that Joe Missoula will double down on it and won't go away from it. And that's where I'm at this point. I know it's got him here. I've been the guy who tells you that when the Celtics get up like that, everybody taps out, and they normally have. Not the New York Knicks. I don't want that to get lost tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Knicks did everything right down the stretch. The Celtics absolutely lost this game. They choked it away, just like they did the other night.
Yep.
But I do think that New York, I didn't want to credit them in game one. Tonight, I think they did everything great down the stretch, but I cannot help but look at Joe Missoula and just, again, he's struggling. He's not good. He's not good right now. Offensively, he's not good. I don't think the coach is helping him whatsoever. That's all. That's my take.
They're making it. They're making it hard on them, which you're supposed to do. They're not letting Tatum beat them in those situations. But there's adjustments you can make. Jaylen Brown, the plays that they're running for Jaylen Brown, where he's catching it on the low block, 2 dribbles, how many times did he post, turn around, and 1 right at the rim? Post, mid-range jumper from 5 feet away. Over and over again. Those are the same plays you can run for Tatum when he gets a Bridges, a Brunson, or a Hart on him. Okay, there's the switch. Let's get the ball to Tatum let's not have him be the point forward in the series. Let him be the catch and shoot, man, where he's catching it down on the low block. That way he only needs 1 dribble and he's pulling up. 1 dribble, he's laying up. Let him do that instead of trying to dribble against OG from 30 feet away, which is hard to do. He's one of the better defenders in the league. He's bigger than Tatum, body strength-wise, and he's almost just as tall and just as athletic. It's hard for him to get by him, then get by Towns, then get by Mitchell with Hart reaching in every time he goes to the basket. The only way you're going to get that pressure off Tatum, guys got to start hitting their open shots. But Tatum has to be better at catching the ball on the block. Like Reggie Miller said in the second quarter, moving without the basketball. He got a dunk on the baseline by moving without the basketball. Fundamental old school stuff. That's all you have to do to get open when you're that good. And they did it early in the game, fourth quarter. It's like everybody just had a meltdown and just forgot how to play basketball and was praying that the clock ran out, and they got burned again.
They still had a lead in the final seconds and lost the game. Still had a lead. It was a foul and a free throw that put him in that situation, which I absolutely hated. All right, Cerrone, we'll get a quick look at the headlines here. No commercials. The phone lines are absolutely loaded. People are going to sound off. You should be upset. They're too good for this. And I do think that there was the coaching did not help them, but I wonder how the players feel about this philosophy right now. Because that did not do them any favors whatsoever. All right, we'll hit a quick look at the Sports Hub headline here. Cerrone's here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is Boston's home for sports.
Holiday 3, good night. Forces it up over Somebody tied it.
WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics are now down 2-0 in the series after their 91-90 loss to the New York Knicks in Game 2. Jaylen Brown, 20 points tonight. Jason Tatum, though, 13 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. In the loss, they had a 1-point lead in the final seconds of the game, but New York's defense came away with the win. They trailed by 20 points, back-to-back games on the road. Coming back from 20 points hasn't been done in 25 years. It's the Thunder 40, Denver 18 with a minute to go in the first quarter. The Red Sox tonight got a 6-4 win. Wilyer Abreu homered in the game. Tanner Houck, 4 2/3 innings. Brennan Bernardino with the win. And NHL scoreboard right now. No score between the Jets and Stars. Leafs got a 4-3 win over the Panthers. Headlines, they are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Give yourself a goal of losing 40 pounds by the 4th. It's doable. It's easy. Your summer self will thank you. Awaken180weightloss.com. I'm Joe Murray. Next update soon.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
The right plays in the fourth quarter, and down the stretch, I thought OG Anunoby was outstanding defensively, and Bridgers once again down the stretch making a big play. The odds are out. The Knicks are the favorites to win the series right now. At minus 135, Celtics plus 115. Now, that just means that they've become the favorite. So if you still think the Celtics can win this series, it's the only time that you can get plus odds. It opened minus 800. So there you go. That is that's almost $1,000 turnaround right there. I still think the Celtics win the series. But whatever they're doing right now late in games is not working. And I think for the first time in this era, especially in the playoffs, they were so good last year that they didn't need coaching to come into the equation. Well, I think coaching certainly impacted both games, and I know that their stars are struggling. Jason Tatum's struggling, no doubt about it. They're missing their shots, and I give New York credit for all that. Missoula spoke after the game. He said a few things that I'm sure are going to drive people crazy. Skaz, I know I threw that in Slack, but Missoula talked about why he didn't call a timeout down there. So let's hear this one, Cerrone.
Process with not calling timeout there with 12 seconds left.
Had one left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds earlier, tried to execute the exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get the advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. So good full court setting. They subbed out Towns, weren't able to sub out Brunson, had action there, and we just didn't execute.
So they didn't execute. Great answer of why you didn't.
So, sorry.
No,
what do
you say?
He ran the same exact play, and good for them for sniffing it out. Really, dude? You ran the same play, and you wonder they figured it out. If there were 3 people jump Jason Tatum, guess what? That means 2 people were wide open. If you knew that they might count, you call a timeout, and if you feel that's the play you want to run, you call timeout. Hey, we're going to run it this way. But if this guy jumps here, you go here. If this guy comes on your left, you go here. Tatum, if these 2 come here, you got the dump down to Al Horford here. That's all you do in the timeout. You can still run the same stuff, but you give them the options in case the professional defense on the other side, led by a guy that's been a defensive head coach for 2 decades, sniffs it out. It's come on, man. There it is. Late in games is execution in every sport. It's game plan, it's execution. That's when the coaches make their money. And it's like this dude, he's costing them, just kind of digging his heels, and we're going to do what we do. I don't care if the other team adjusts. We're just going to have to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And it's burning them, Joe.
Mm-hmm. This guy's perked up on that one. Is that what you heard?
I was in lockstep with Cerrone there. That was what stood out to me, that he said, yeah, well, we ran the same exact play, and credit to them. They realized we were doing the same exact thing right in a row. So yeah, I had the same visceral reaction that Cerrone had.
Outcoached,
outclassed, out-hustled.
Hey, guys, if they run that play again, don't worry. They're not going to pass it. Just go at Tatum. Right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't. They worried about him kicking out the play before because they were down. They were actually up 1.
Exactly. Yeah.
But here, now you're up. Don't give up the 3. Just attack him because he's not going to pass. Yeah, good one there.
Yeah, and the fundamental thing is the reason that they didn't run out and the reason they left their guy is because they were looking when the defense is facing Tatum, they can see the game clock behind him. So they're like, if he makes his move at 4 or 3, everybody run at him because there's not enough time for him to now kick it across court to the wide open guys that they left free. So they said, hey, we know he has to shoot it. Everybody collapsed on him. And they, good thing for them, they got to him. They didn't foul him or anything like that. But they saw once it was 3, 2, 1, everybody sprint to Tatum. And if you go to the play and you get into action quicker, they're a little hesitant to run and surround him because they're like, if we trap this dude, he'll kick it out and they'll hit the 3. Very similar play to last year against the Pacers. Tatum drove late in the game, but there was still some time left. The whole Pacers defense jumps on Tatum. He throws a sweep behind the back pass to Al Horford for the 3 because they had time to do it. In this situation, the Knicks, once he went left and was stumbling, they said, he does not have time to gather himself, find the open man, and for that man to take the shot. Everybody just get a hand up and hope for the best. And they did and made the play. but you have to call timeout there to give your team options in case 1, 2, or the whole defense sniffs out the play you just ran 20 seconds ago. So, I mean, that's not just Missoula. That's all 20 assistant coaches or whoever they got sitting over there, but didn't recognize. Nobody said anything and said, "No, man, we got to call timeout. We got to do this right." And I hate that for that coaching staff. That's not a good look for them tonight.
All right, we'll go to the phones in a second here. I want everybody to turn up your radio right now and listen to what we're about to say. Turn it up and listen. I want all the other shows to hear this. I want everyone to hear this. The Celtics choked. They've choked both games. They're the only team to give up 20-point leads at home and lose. They're the only team in 25 years to do it. They're choked. They're chokers. They've been absolutely out-coached. Their coach is hurting the team. It's hurting the star players. The star player in Jason Tatum is not making his shots. Kristaps Porzingis is not making an impact. Things aren't going the way that things have gone with the Celtics in these two playoff games as it has last year or in the first round of this series, of this playoff. They've choked 2 games in a row. They've choked. Their coach is getting out-coached. This isn't the basketball we've been watching for 2 years. I want to credit the New York Knicks for what they're doing. They lost all 4 games in the regular season and aren't scared of the Boston Celtics. When they're down 16, they're resilient. They make every big play while the Celtics keep fumbling it away, and their coach doesn't help them. I don't know how much louder I can say this. So they should be crushed for this. Feel free to call in about it. But if you think we're making excuses, you're listening to the wrong show or that the volume's not loud enough. They have choked 2 games away, and I'll say it one more time. They're becoming what the New York Knicks have always been. Chokers. Nothing and meaningless. All I can say is this was the best road team during the regular season, and now they have to go and prove that and make sure that it actually meant something, or they're going home, and the new owner that takes over, he's going to make changes because the team isn't good enough to keep intact. You hear me? You got me, Cerrone, on that one?
Yep.
Anything else you want to add on that?
No, the team choked. That's it.
Thank you.
They choked. They collectively, one big collective choke. Not one guy is all 12 active guys completely choked. Porzingis, no show first half. He shows up in the second half. You never see him again. Al Horford can't hit anything in this series. And I know he's buddy with Towns, but he might need to pop upside his head to kind of break that up. It kind of let him do what he was going to do in the first half. Tatum can't hit anything open, covered. Excuse me. He missed about 4 layups in the first half. Easy layups, bricked them. He doesn't have anything going. He's rebounding. I give him credit for that. But they're missing open shots. Pritchard goes cold. Derek White goes cold. Horford, Jaylen Brown, he goes cold. Not only does Brown go cold, Brown literally he stopped doing what was working for him. He's flexing. He's getting and ones. It completely goes away from it. I don't know what that is. He goes cold. And he said, give the Knicks credit. They're hanging around. They always got a guy or two that's willing to say, no, we're still in this. But the Celtics aren't making adjustments either way. No kind of adjustments. Bridges gets going. Okay, he hits the first turnaround. Okay, good. He hits the second turnaround. By the time he hits the third one, and when Brunson's on the bench while he's doing this, guess what? Let's double team him and get the ball out of his hands. Let's let somebody else try and beat us who's cold. Because the Knicks were just as cold, by the way. The percentages is exactly the same. They were just as bad. Brunson, I think he made one more shot than Tatum. He's just as cold as Tatum was. Take the ball out of Bridges' hands, double team him, make somebody else beat you just for a few minutes, and you might hold on to this lead. But there was no adjustments by the players, no in-game, on-the-fly adjustments by the players, no adjustment by the coaches. collective choke, like you said, Joe, from everybody involved in this, even the fans that were there. You got out-cheered by the Knicks fans. I don't know what that was all about, too. You made it feel like it was a home game for them. But everybody got outclassed tonight, and they deserve to take this L the way they did. And they went out, they went down in flames, and now you have to go into what's going to be a crazy hostile environment in New York and try and win some games there. You got to at least get one of those games and try and bring it back home. But real quick, Joe, this thing at home, this has been who they've been all year. Sometimes you are who you are. And this is what they've been all year at home, blowing leads against teams they should be smoking and had a terrible record at home, but they saved their season because they were a dominant team on the road. But this thing, what they've been doing at home, is not new to this Knicks series. It's been an issue with them all year, and they never figured out what the issue is and never figured out how to correct it. And it came back to burn them at the worst time of the year.
And they choked. I'm personally offended because for 2 years I was able to say that this team gets out to a big lead and the other team taps out. And that's what the New York Knicks used to be, right? They'd get down, they'd tap. So I'm personally offended. So if you want to bring the smoke, I want the smoke. Let's do it. I want the smoke, Cerrone. Let's do it. Everyone's pissed. Sal's in Linfield. What's up, Sal? Hey, Sal.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Got you now, yep.
Hey, I love the show, guys. I totally agree with you guys on, the Boston Celtics just choking this one away. It's all about quality possessions, in my opinion. You're up big in the second half. You got about 14 minutes left in the game. You can't rush these shots. You got to use almost the whole shot clock, give them half the time, and think about the shots you're taking. That last shot, in my opinion, Missoula definitely should have taken that timeout. It's honestly infuriating. Seeing some of these three-point numbers as well. Al Horford, 0 for 5. Drew Holiday, 0 for 2. Derek White, 3 for 11. I mean, you got to shoot the ball better. You got to get that quality possession. And, I think there's a lot of guys in the league that could do better than that. And hopefully we can fix this issue going into Game 3 and maybe win another ring, bring back banner number 19.
All right, man, appreciate you. I mean, listen, everybody missed shots tonight. Everybody's a part of it. They've had a chance late in games and back-to-back games where I don't think they were put in the right position. Obviously, they should have never been in that situation, but here we are now. Watching a team that's down 2-0, blowing games at home this year, like you pointed out, Cerrone. This isn't new. It's just that right now, this team has played this style all year long, and they need to make adjustments. They did it last series. They're great. They're a great team. I think they're a great team. But I do think right now their coach needs to be a coach, and it hasn't helped them. They've lost both games by, 4 points?
Yeah. And the caller brought up something that I didn't really notice. And once he said it, I went back and looked. He was talking about Derek White's shot selection. Derek White in both games of this series, I think he's taken 25 threes, 25 or 26 threes. He took 11 tonight. And would he take 16 in game 1 or something like that? Derek White should not be taking 25 three-pointers. I'm sorry, in 2 games. Steph Curry doesn't take 25 threes in 2 games, and he's the greatest shooter we've ever seen. He should not be taking 25 threes, especially when the guy across from him is usually Jalen Brunson. When you can get to the basket on these guys at will. Derek White tonight, he took a total over the I don't know how many minutes he played tonight. Derek White played 40 minutes. In 40 minutes tonight, he took 5 shots inside the paint. He took 6 shots total inside the three-point line, giving him a grand total in 2 games of 8 shots inside the three-point line and 27 shots outside the three-point line and only 7-8 inside the line. That's ridiculous, and that number has to be flipped. Derek White is great at finishing with those floaters in the lane. He's great around the basket, real smart around the basket. He makes his free throws. He's a great offensive rebounder. You can't have him hovering around the perimeter. You can't have Al Horford hovering around the perimeter. It's a recipe for disaster. They have to figure out something else to do here, and they're becoming very predictable, and that's why the Knicks are able to make their runs in the second half because they know what's coming. They have the notes. They've seen the movie before. They know exactly what's coming, and they're like, if we could just hang around chip away. We're going to get layups and mid-range shots while they're out there gunning, and that's what happened in both games. But Derek White can't have, 27 three-pointers in the first two games of the series.
They've missed 75, and he has how many of them?
25, 27 he's taken. I don't know how many he missed, but yeah.
That's 1/3 if you ask me, Joe Math.
That's a third of the team's threes by Derek White. No, thank you.
Not a winning formula if you ask me. And I love the player, right? But if he's taking the third most shots, might be having a problem there. All right, we got to go to break. The phone lines are loaded. We get some Missoula stuff as well. We're here till midnight tonight. Cerrone Battle. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz is here. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
mental thing. You know, they're not short on talent. Certainly, they've got the better talent, but the mental edge, New York has got it. And I do think that New York, a lot of people say that, you know, they underestimate and they say, oh, you know, the Celtics should just blow them away. I give New York credit. They're gritty and they're tough.
I think OG Anunoby's been outstanding defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that his calling card, Cerrone?
Yeah, that's why he's in the league. That's why they got him. That's who he is. He's a defender. The getting 20 points the other night, that was found money. That's gold for them. That's not what he does. He's a defensive guy. He'll give you the 15, whatever, but him hitting all those threes and getting 20, yeah, that's not normally what you get from him. But the caller, I believe, is on to something. I think their natural basketball instincts that they've been taught since they were kids is to do certain things in certain situations. Late in the game, I want to go to the basket. I should be going to the basket, but I'm being asked to do this and play that this way or that way. And I think when things get tight and pressure starts to build up, wires kind of get crossed and they kind of get confused. So everybody's hesitating. Everybody's standing around. Everybody's pump faking. They're not sure. They're not sure of themselves. They're not sure what they should be doing. You had a 2-on-1 fast break with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Brown jumps for the alley-oop. Tatum throws it low. You know, that would have put him up, I think, 24 or some 22, whatever it was. And they blew that situation. So it's little things like that where it's like they're not sure of themselves or sure what to do. And Tatum beat one guy. He beat one move. He beat the guy off the dribble. But instead of keep going to the basket, he stops and crosses the guy over again. Like he's not sure. Like, yeah, you were open the first time. Now you've made it more difficult. Peyton Pritchard, a little hesitant. I think their wires are getting crossed because they want to play a certain way, the way that feels natural. But then it seems like they're being coached to do something the exact opposite. And they're kind of, you know, they don't look right. I thought when he said from Florida, I thought he was going to talk about the Orlando series where they didn't shoot threes. The game plan was they defend the three. Let's not shoot the three. Let's get to the basket. Everybody understood the assignment. Everybody did it. They got out of that series really with no problems. Now it's like, but what should we do? And they're hesitating. And that little hesitation is what allows a team that's less talented than you hang around. And they're playing confident and free and loose. Brunson's playing his game. Bridges playing his game. Towns played his game early. Hart's played his game early. He had a 20-point game. They're playing loose and they're playing their style. And the Celtics, for some reason, are just kind of caught in the matrix when things get tight. They don't know exactly what they should do and what their natural feelings are telling them to do.
All right. I do want to get into some of the lineup changes and all that, but people are holding. They want to get in. Let's do it. We got Steve. He's in Pawtucket. Steve. Steve. Got to be ready. George in Cambridge.
Hey, what's up, guys? I mean, this is unbelievable. I mean, first, I just can't believe the arrogance and the entitlement of all of these Celtics fans, people on the station, the national media. This is the playoffs, man. Like, it's the second round of the playoffs. I don't care if the Celtics beat the Knicks by 50 every game in the regular season. The Knicks have NBA players in the second round of the playoffs. And I'm just thinking that maybe did this seep into the Celtics' head? Like, oh, yeah, this series is going to be nothing. We're just going to walk through this series. Conference finals awaits us. I can't. And to make it worse, they lost game one, and people still had the same arrogance. It blows me away. Personally, I think it's over, guys. I really do. This season is over.
No.
I love his confidence.
No.
They had reason to be arrogant. They didn't just beat this team 4-0 during the season. They were beating them by 25 and 30 points. They beat them to death over the last 2 years. The Knicks just struggled against – they needed miracles to beat a Pistons team that won 14 games last year. The Knicks were hobbled. There was nothing – there was no reason – Knicks fans weren't confident in the Knicks. The Celtics fans and the Celtics weren't arrogant. It was a common sense thing. It was like, yo, this team is not on the same level. The Knicks scored 91 points tonight. OKC has 71 and there's still 4 minutes left in the second quarter. They only scored 91. The Knicks didn't play great basketball. the Celtics missed so many open shots. It's all about what they're doing wrong. I'm not to take anything away from the Knicks. The Knicks executed when they had to, had a great fourth quarter. But they only scored 91 points. That's what you want the Celtics team to do. Can we keep Jalen Brunson off the foul line and keep him to a low percentage? Yes and yes. That's what they did to Jalen Brunson tonight. But at the end of the day, they have to figure out a way how they can score more than 90. Yes, the Knicks are an NBA team, but there's a reason everybody was confident. There was nothing you saw over the first 82, 89 games of the Knicks season that said they're capable of coming in and winning games in Boston, being down 20 in both of them. There was nothing they showed you all year. And that's why the Celtic fans and everybody else was confident nationally, locally. And this is why Knicks fans, even Stephen A. Smith was like, man, I'd be happy if they get one game. Yep. They weren't confident either because they knew that this team wasn't as good talent-wise. So I don't want to say they're losing because they're overconfident. They're losing because they're missing open shots, and they're not adjusting to get easier shots so they don't have to worry about missing a bunch of 25-footers. That's the problem.
And the fact they've lost both games by 4 points shows that they're in it. It's the math. They have a philosophy. They think it can win. And I think in games like this, when it's close at the end, I do think it comes down to coaching. They didn't have to do that a year ago. I'm just going to be honest about it. They didn't have to. And at that time, guys like Brown and Tatum really took over, Brown in particular. But we're not seeing it right now. But the series isn't over. You win on Saturday night, it's 2-1, right? You come Monday night, bing, bang, boom, right? It's 2-2. You come back home with motivation. Even if it's 3-1, you still get a shot to come back home. This thing isn't over, Cerrone. We watched Miami do the great teams have done this before. Great teams. Skaz?
Just a little news coming out of TD Garden. We're not going to get as much post-game sound as expected. Apparently, there is a legit fire at TD Garden. The fire alarms went off, and the place has been evacuated.
Wow.
So no Jason Tatum post-game, and I believe some others were cut short.
So I saw the fire alarm.
So from a dumpster fire to an actual fire at TD Garden.
I was going to make a joke about it, but no, there seriously is a fire, so I won't make – yeah.
Wow. According to Noah Dalzell, yes.
Wow. So everybody's been cleared out of the Garden, so not sure how much we get for post-game sound. Paul's in New Hampshire. Hey, Paul.
Hey, guys. Cerrone, you asked earlier, what are the players thinking right now? I assure you, the only thing the players are thinking right now is, well, if we hit a couple more shots, even just one, we win the game. There's not going to be any adjustments. It's not going to go deep or we have to overhaul it. Like, that's what they're thinking. They're not like, oh, my God, we played like shit. The shots didn't fall. Excuse my language.
So, yeah.
Excuse me.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought I heard an S, so I just dumped it.
Well, what else? He let one slip. But his point is they're not going to make adjustments, and I disagree on that. The only reason I disagree is they made the adjustment from game 1 to game 2 to start the game. They said let's just go to they were missing threes, but they weren't taking that many. I think they had, 20, 15, 20, whatever it was early in the game. But they were getting to the basket. They were posting up the guards of the Knicks. The adjustment was made. Jaylen Brown was posting up Hart and Brunson like crazy. Holiday, he was 4 for 6 in the first half and getting in the paint, layups. Brunson had to get a what is it? I almost like I'm passing it. I can't think of the play, but they threw the ball downfield, and Brunson had to foul Holiday because he was posting up Brunson from 40 feet away, and Tatum throws it down court, and he had to foul him to keep a take foul. Excuse me, to keep from him getting the layup. It was all working early. Porzingis gets a dunk in the lane. He gets a bucket. Tatum gets a dunk on the lane, his first shot. He got a couple dunks in the lane tonight and ones. It was working. They made the adjustment. And then they came out. The third quarter, they shot 50%. Tatum got another dunk. He got a couple. He had a 3, another layup. They shot 50% in the third quarter. But halfway through the third quarter, all the adjustments went away, and they just fell back on the habit. So they're going to come out in game 3 with an adjustment. The biggest question is, are they willing to stick to what's working for a full 48 minutes and get out of there with a win? And I got a feeling because the pressure's on them now, and now their backs are against the wall, they have no choice but to trust their game plan and carry it out throughout this whole game.
I'm interested to see how New York plays up with a lead now. I want to see how they do. There's a lot I want to get into in this next hour, Cerrone. Number one is some of the adjustments tonight, and then just the putting the Knicks in the bonus I didn't love. But let's get into that. We got to get a headline. People are lined up on the phone lines, 617-779-0985. Cerrone's here. I'm Joe Murray. Skaz as well here till midnight on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics, they lost. They're now down 2-0 in the series after their 91-90 loss over New York tonight. Well, Celtics had a 20-point lead and lost. Alabama. Whoa, Nelly. Hey, Zach.
Hey, Joe. How are you guys doing, man? Understandably so. It's been a pretty rough evening for all of us Celtics fans, man. You know, I feel like the biggest problem we have right now is when it comes to Joe Missoula, you look at your stat sheets and you see, you know, not only 15 for 60 from game one, but you see 10 for 40 from the three in game two. Not only ranging from Karl Anthony Towns kind of, you know, taking over the paint, but my problem lies in accountability. You know, when it comes to Joe at the end of the game saying, oh, well, we thought that we could run the same play twice, that becomes predictability. And when it comes to the New York Knicks, Thibodeau, man, he's a really good head coach. He's going to figure this stuff out. So to your guys' point, the adjustments that need to be made coming in game three, I'm curious as to what Joe will do. Well, what are your guys' take on that?
I don't think they're going to change much. I would still have Horford come start. That's probably one thing I'd look at, Cerrone, is Al Horford, although he makes an impact and is out there as like a veteran leader, the production's not there yet. So I'm curious if they go back to Porzingis in the starting lineup or they go back to Horford. Right now, I don't know. They got to get him going, and I don't know if it's him starting or coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, I think you got to go back to what worked for you all season. If Porzingis is healthy, I think you go Porzingis in your starting lineup, and you have Horford come play with that second unit. That way there's some kind of veteran leadership with that second unit, and you get more of a rhythm and flow with Peyton Pritchard and Cornette and Al Horford. That's what's worked for you all season. I think Cornette, I look at right now, Cornette and Porzingis. Porzingis played 13 minutes today. Cornette played 17 minutes. Cornette, in the time he was out there, he gave you 8 rebounds. It was 3 for 4 from the floor in 17 minutes. Porzingis, 3 for 5. He got it going in the second half, but you stopped. Cornette only had 1 foul. I think you need, against this Knicks team, you could have used more size. You could have dominated this team down low. Mitchell, yeah, he's a handful when he gets going because he gets the dunks and the blocks. He had a couple of huge steals tonight. But I think you're better than them in the paint. Your guards are better than them in the paint. Porzingis, Cornette, Al Horford, some type of rotation with those guys, kind of an equal play out of them. Instead of Al Horford playing, he gave you 30 minutes. You don't need the oldest guy on the team playing 30 minutes and your other 2 bigs playing 17 to 13 minutes, and they're shooting 70% from the floor combined and rebounding the basketball. Put them out there. You can't coach size. You got your 7-footers. Play them. Cornette's been effective down there. Play these guys more. Get to the basket. Put the Knicks in foul trouble. That's what almost buried them in game one, was them being in foul trouble, but you went away from it there. But you gotta go with the post. If you want to shoot, they're gonna shoot the threes. We know that. But you do it effectively. You go inside out. You get it in. When they double team, they trap, you kick it out. Now you got more wide open attempts from the corners, from the shorter parts of the 3-point line, or from straight ahead top of the key. You go inside first and kick it out. They're just walking down the court and just shooting threes. And that's the adjustment that has to be made. Take your 43s, but I want 25 of them to be catch and shoot as opposed to dribble, shoot the 3. And I think that's the adjustment that has to be made.
Yep. I would also try to coach getting Peyton Pritchard involved late in games.
Yes.
Coach it up. Don't just give it to your star player and tell everybody to get out of the way. Coach it up. Design it up a little bit more. Ryan's in Hopkinton. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. Well, how are you? I got a comment and then a point of view. I was at the game tonight. I was sitting about 3 rows back, and the first thing I'd say is there's something not right with KP. He looked winded. He looked gassed. I don't know if it's concussion syndromes. I don't know if it's something that we talked. He's just not right.
He said it's something. And he said it's a sickness and it's something internal. He's not right.
Yeah, that's right. And you could see it. You could just.
He actually said he's hurting inside bad. So
that's right. And you could.
Yeah,
you could see it.
What do you say about this? Like, what do we say about a guy that's out? Is he hurting the team being out there? Is that what we're saying?
No. Yeah, I don't know if it, but I respect. I mean, you could tell the guy. KP has the grit and the grind. He's a winner, but you could tell even he wanted to come in so bad, and when he came in, you could see that he just didn't have it. And so I think Joe's got to figure out the big man lineup. I mean, listen, when the Knicks play the bigs, they out rebound us. They got us on the glass. You could see it with Mitch and Cat. And so, yeah, I think you've got to figure out Cornette and Horford and how do we complement the things.
Yeah. Horford's played well, and not Horford, Cornette. He's played well. He was a plus 15 tonight or whatever he was. In minimal time, he's putting up almost a double-double.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he played for the Knicks. Maybe there's motivation. Maybe he knows. I'm just
got to play more.
Maybe that's what it is. Less. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but I'm wondering if it's less Porzingis, more Cornette. I don't even know what to do. When it comes to Porzingis, he's telling you he's sick. He's telling you he's in pain. They're telling you that they don't know really what it is, and he doesn't know what it is. But he's out there. He doesn't look well. He's not starting. They really can't have him late in the game. So I don't think they should bench him. But how do you utilize him?
Yeah, you got to play him in spots. You got to pick your spots for him. And it's unfortunate that he's going through this. There's always something with him. But I think in a case like tonight, Cornette has amazing chemistry with Jason Tatum. It's been there all year.
Yep, pick and roll.
That pick and roll with those two, Tatum could do it off the dribble. You seen the beautiful play he made with him earlier. Dribble, and with his right hand just flicks it to Cornette for the dunk. They have amazing chemistry. They get it. It was only fitting that they both got going at the same time. They fed off each other. And the Knicks kind of, when he's out there with Tatum, they kind of play on their heels, and it now allows Tatum to go downhill. You have to find those kind of matchups and those tandems in the game within the game to get those guys going. And I think Cornette, if Al Horford didn't have it going tonight, he's 2 for 11, 0 for 5 from 3. He's only had 4 rebounds in 30 minutes. If he's not rebounding the ball, Cat is scoring on him because he's taller than he is and he's younger. He's got 4 fouls. Put the tall 7-foot Cornette out there to give Al a breather. That way Al's only playing 20 minutes, and he's fresher for you in the fourth quarter to make those Al Horford-like plays. Get Cornette on the floor. I understand he was in foul trouble in the first game, but tonight he only had 1 foul. Get him out there on the floor. Get him out there running that pick and roll with Tatum and Brown, and you get stuff because Cornette's the one guy that's not going to take 10 3-pointers. He's going to roll to the basket. So you have no choice but when he's out there to get points in the paint. Put him out there. He's a good offensive rebounder. He always makes the right decisions, and he has great chemistry with Jason Tatum. Use those two to feed each other to get each other going, and then to get you going to the basket and change the way this series looks. But Al Horford is a stretch at this point in his career.
Yeah.
He's expected to shoot threes, where Cornette is looked at as a guy that is going to play in the paint and play down low.
I think that Missoula is just going to probably, if Porzingis is like good to go on Saturday and he's feeling better, like you just start him and you figure it out. I wouldn't be against Cornette starting, just to see how maybe you kind of set the tone that you're going to do the pick and roll and that you're going to try to go to the basket. Maybe you get somebody in foul trouble. I just listen, I think that Missoula is just going to be stubborn like he is and go with it. But if he wants to make an adjustment, I think that maybe starting Cornette and having both Horford and Porzingis off the bench, then you can start to do your mix and matches, and you might not have to go to the Hacka move, which I thought was horrible tonight.
Yeah, there was no point in doing it in that situation. You should have did it when they were coming back from down 20.
Exactly.
When you had a 20-point lead and you're trying to hold on to it, that's when I went and did the Hacka Mitchell and sent him to the foul line and made it so, man, we got to get him out of there. And then once he comes out, it should be layup city without that shot blocker being out there. And they didn't do. He waited till the game was like 3 minutes left, and he starts doing it. I'm like, you're just gonna put them in the put yourself in the bonus. But Cornette, back to Cornette. I'm sorry, Cornette, when he's out there on the court, the playoffs is all about matchups and game by game adjustments. If Cornette gives you the better chance to win in this series, don't be afraid to do it. Cornette runs the floor. Because he runs the floor, guess what Towns has to do? Towns has to run the floor to keep up with him. What does that do to Towns? takes his legs away. When the guy doesn't have his legs, he can't shoot the three. He can't go to the low post. Now he's whining, he's fouling, he's reaching. Cornette moves without the ball. He causes action down low. Guys have to move. They have to follow him. Al Horford, at this point of his career, he's not moving that much. Porzingis, because of his health, he's not moving that much. If Porzingis is only going to give you 10 minutes and I still want to go double big, I'm going Cornette and Neemias Queta. I'm throwing somebody out there. I'm putting another big body. If Karl Anthony Towns in that first half is getting layup after layup in post because Porzingis not out there, Al Horford's old, if you want to just get some guy to waste fouls on Mitchell, put Neemias Queta out there. Let him use all 6. That way you still have Cornette and these guys to play in the fourth quarter. And he can give you rebounds. Excuse me. He can bang with the other bigs down there because you're not dealing with Mitchell. Mitchell was not Akeem Olajuwon. He's not going to score 20. You can put a guy like Queta out there because you're not afraid of Mitchell shooting shots or getting jump hooks or anything like that. So I wouldn't say they cancel each other out, but you put another body and you save the legs of Porzingis, Al Horford, and the Cornette. Use the guys you have on your team. You got to make some kind of small adjustments just to throw the Knicks off just for a few plays, and you would have won both of these games.
Yeah. I just, again, a lot of people were overconfident about the series. The Knicks stink, and I at least said the Celtics in 6. It's still alive, but this is tough, Cerrone. I still think they're like the more talented team. I gotta take that. I think people might look at as maybe like a defense for Jason Tatum, but I think there's something going on with him right now that is we're not talking about yet, and I think Missoula's got to figure this one out. So we'll get into that on the other side. We got another hour to go. Cerrone Battles here. Skaz, I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Hear every playoff game right here. Your home for Boston Celtics basketball. WBZ FM and HD1 Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics trailed the series 2-0 after their 91-90 loss to New York tonight. Jason Tatum struggled offensively at 13 points and 14 rebounds. They got 20 points from Derek White and Jaylen Brown. Josh Hart led the way for New York. Karl Anthony Towns had the game-winning free throw. Celtics will play Game 3 in New York Saturday afternoon at 3:30. Right now at halftime, the Thunder lead Denver 87-56. In the NHL playoffs, Leafs over the Panthers 4-3. Jets, they have a 1-0 lead over the Stars right now, second period in Game 1. And the Red Sox 6-4 winners tonight over the Rangers. They got a home run from Wilyer Abreu. Tanner Houck, 4 2/3, 2 earned in this one. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5. The Sports Hub.
Back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, I'm Joe Murray. Final hour. Well, let's get in. I see some people still on the line. We'll get to you guys. Let's just knock out some actual stuff here. Cerrone, get some people caught up as well. The Celtics lost again in Game 2 on a fourth quarter collapse up 20. They're now down 0-2 in the series. They lost tonight 91-90. Jalen Brunson hit a pair of go-ahead free throws with 12 seconds left. Jason Tatum had a shot blocked at the buzzer. On the final possession where they did not call a timeout. Both teams struggled offensively. Jaylen Brown led the way, 20 points. Derek White had 20. But Jason Tatum shot 5 of 19 from the field. They did make some surprise lineup changes early. They elected to bring Porzingis off the bench for the first time all season. And they went with Al Horford. I don't know if that worked, Cerrone, but I'll at least say that they were up 16 points at the first half. So it's hard for me to say it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll at least start there. Porzingis isn't himself. After the game, he said he's dealing with an illness and he's got pain on the inside. Like, I commend him for saying it. He's not the same guy, and I think it's impacting the team. I don't think it's why they're losing. To go on, the Celtics, they got worked on the glass. And I actually saw Barstool Greeny post this a little while ago. Inside the paint, the Celtics allowed 6 offensive rebounds and 8 second chance points just in the fourth quarter alone. They were 3 for 10 in the paint, 2 for 11 from 3. That's losing basketball right there. And they can't keep digging themselves in a hole, right? They can't keep doing it. I'm sure that if you look at the numbers, it will tell you, hey, if the Celtics just made their shots, they win the game. I'm sure a lot of guys said, Jaylen Brown was saying that, hey, at some point our shots are going to fall. I just hope the season isn't over when they finally start falling.
In October. I think getting lost in all this, we've talked now for over an hour, and this is the first time we've mentioned Jaylen Brown really. And I think one thing we have to really look at is Jaylen Brown in the first half of this game. Brown in the first half was 7 for 16. And I want to say six of his shots were either at the free throw line or closer, the ones he made. He made one corner 3. He was 7 for 16. He took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shots in the paint alone in the first half of this game. Jaylen Brown in the second half, I understand going cold and just being a poor shooter, whatever. He took 2 shots in the paint the second half of this game. 2. After being so effective in the first half of getting to the line, drawing, backing guys down. He took 2 shots in the lane, and he made 1 shot the whole second half. He was 1 for 7 in the second half. He hit a top of the key 3, missed 2 more threes, missed a couple free throw jumpers, and 2 in the lane. That's all 7 shots in the second half is all he took. And that you can't have a guy that had it going and the one guy that has a mismatch in the series with the smaller guards on him not be effective. Fourth quarter tonight, he was 0 for 4. He only took 4 shots the whole fourth quarter. You can't have that. And this is shades of what we saw when me and you, Joe, first started doing this together, was when he was in the series against Philadelphia a couple years ago, where he just didn't shoot in the fourth quarter. He'd have these 20-point first halves and would literally just not shoot the ball in the second half. It would kind of go missing while being the guy to bring the ball up. He's bringing the ball up, dribble, slow. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Okay, now let's move the ball around. And then he's not even taking the shots. Only 4 shots in the fourth quarter tonight. Only 7 shots total in the whole second half after being dominant in the first half. That has to change. He has to be aggressive. He has the mismatch. The Knicks are locked in on taking Tatum away from the offense. So this is why having multiple guys is the reason that when you win in the NBA, you got another guy. Okay, we got another all-NBA caliber player, all-star right here. You take him away, okay, Brown, it's your time to go out there and get 25, 30 points, which he should have easily had tonight, but he just stopped shooting the basketball. And you need him to be more aggressive, especially late in these games. And when you see Tatum is struggling or he's being double-teamed or whatever, this is your opportunity to be, okay, Jaylen Brown, I got this. I'm gonna bring us home here in the fourth quarter. And he kind of just faded away, him and Holiday, in the second half, and completely went away from what worked in the first 2 quarters.
Yeah, just to double down on that, I've been doubling down a lot on the stuff you're saying, Cerrone, because I mean, we're here for 2 hours. We watched the game. There's only a few real things that we can be like, this happened, that happened, and that happened, and they got to figure this out. Number one is the shot making, and Jason Tatum in fourth quarters. He's got to be better. He's got to. So let's just talk this one out for a second. Tatum in the fourth quarter in the series, 6 points, 0 for 11 from the field, 0 for 9 from 3. That's a problem. There's no other way to look at it. You can't defend it. Like, Jason Tatum's a great player, and I think that the coach needs to scheme him better. Just like we talk about scheming up plays for Pritchard. Just the Tatum going to the basket thing, they got caught with it tonight. It worked once. It didn't work the second time. But this is where I wanted to pay off on my tease real quick. And I don't want anyone to think this is an excuse for Jason Tatum, because it's not. But I think without Kristaps Porzingis, he's completely playing out of position. Now, he's played the 4, right? Positionless basketball. He's doing it. They don't have a 5. Right now, Jason Tatum's their big. Jason Tatum's how many double-digit rebounds? How many rebounds has he had in the series so far in 2 games?
Man, Jesus,
he is their
25, 28.
He's their only paint presence. He's their only presence in the paint. So he's working so hard doing that offensively, it's like he doesn't go near the paint. It's almost like it's in his head, Cerrone, that he is a wing player and is a playmaker. But now he's being asked, because they don't have really Horford, Porzingis, and Cornette's actually been effective. But he is the guy that is their big. And when he gets the ball on the opposite end, he needs to own the paint on both sides of the floor, and he's not doing it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's the same argument I've made about Jalen Brunson or any guard they play. If you want to take a guard out of a game, like a Jalen Brunson or Steph Curry or Darius Garland or Tyrese Halliburton, you make them play defense so it takes their energy away. They're burning so much energy on defense that the shots are now flat on the other end. Guess who was guarding Karl-Anthony Towns the second half of that game tonight? It was Jason Tatum. How many times did Jason Tatum mixing up with 7-foot Karl-Anthony Towns, who's got him by probably 50 pounds? How many times did the Towns throw him to the ground? He was tussling with Towns. He was tussling with Mitchell. So now he's worn out. So you're asking him to come down on the other end and play point forward. It's not going to work that way. He's not going to have the legs to make his shots. It's that simple. When you played against Orlando, he scores 35 3 straight games. Why? They didn't have a 7-footer down there he was banging with for the whole game. He was able to basically rest and chill on defense. He go over there and rebound, but he's still fresh. Even with a bad wrist, Tatum was smooth. It was free-flowing against Orlando. And Orlando's a much better defensive team than the Knicks are. He was free-flowing and smooth because he had his legs. Against the Knicks, because of Porzingis, you hit the nail on the head, Joe, because of Porzingis, because of Al Horford switching and all this other stuff, Tatum is left down there in the paint, getting posted up by Karl Anthony Towns, an all-star center right now, probably the best center in the Eastern Conference right now. You're being posted up by this kid that's got you beaten every way, and he's taking your energy away. The team's asking you to crash the boards over and over again. And then now you got to come down the other end and try and beat OG Anunoby to the basket. He's young, athletic, strong, just like you. You're going to have to fight through him, plus Towns in the way in the paint. You have to figure out a way to get Tatum off of Towns so he has his energy. It might cost him on the rebounding end, but I think he can rebound against his team. Get Tatum off of Towns. Al Horford has to do it. Cornette has to do it. Porzingis, in a few minutes he's out there, he has to be the one to do it. Switch with Brown from time to time. Brown has more beef. He's a bigger dude. He's a wider guy. He has a stronger base. Since he got Josh Hart from time to time, let him switch down there with Towns, if that's what you want to do. But you have to figure out a way to get your scorers free off the defensive end so they still have their legs to make shots on the offensive end. They don't have legs. You saw it tonight from Mitchell. Mitchell was one out. He shot one of the free throws in the fourth quarter. I swear to God, it fell short by about 3 feet. He had no legs. They had nothing. And that's what's happening to a lot of these players in the series. It's the cross matchups on defense. It's taking their legs away. And then when they come down to offense, they don't have the stamina to get anything done on the offensive end.
I'm gonna like really tomorrow night we got a full show tomorrow. Tatum needs to be a paint player on both sides of the ball.
He does, yeah.
And if it's too much I mean, listen, I think he's helping out on the boards, but late in the game, I think he was gassed. I don't think he could do it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say he got beasted, but he's not one of the guys that should be battling down there without another big. It puts the team at a disadvantage. I think he could play the 3, 4, whatever. They got to figure something out. Because I think it's hurting his game both ways, and they got to get him going. This fourth quarter collapse thing, there's these people now who will tell you he's not clutch. I can give you the numbers to show you who he is. I think he's doing way too much because they're on demand, and I think it's hurting him. And I blame the coach, but whatever. But go ahead. I don't want people thinking I'm defending him.
Bad.
I just don't think they have anybody else.
That's the other part too. But as bad as he played, he still gave you the lead twice with under a minute left. He goes to the foul line, gives you the lead. Knicks come down to score. He gets the inbound play, goes in for a dunk, gives you the ball, gives you the lead with 17 seconds left. But because of your foul strategy leading up to it, you end up putting guys on the foul line and you lose the game. But he gave you the lead in those two situations. But they're taking him away, and he's no different. Like, think about this. You can go up and down Twitter, X, whatever you want to go right now, go on all the networks. They're talking about how clutch Jalen Brunson was. But then when you look at it, Brunson and Jason Tatum basically shot the same percentage the whole game. They both were off. It's all about basically whoever gets the W at the end, you can claim to be clutch. But they literally played the same game. They matched buckets at the end of the game down to the wire. But Tatum, as bad as he was, still gave you the lead with 17 seconds left. Gave you the lead a little bit before that with the free throws. He did what he had to do. He rebounded the basketball. He defended. OG didn't have the game that he had the previous game before. But you're asking him to do too much against a really large athletic team who's picking on the matchups. If we can just lean on Tatum for 20 seconds, maybe we can cause him to miss a couple more shots down the other end. And you're seeing it play out right here. Now you got to figure out a way. I agree with you, Joe. Get him the ball close to the basket, get him more layups. And a similar situation was the closeout game against Dallas last year in the finals. Remember, Tatum really didn't have it going. That's how Brown ended up with finals MVP. He didn't shoot the high percentage. But if you go back and look at that closeout game, it was Jason Tatum on the low block and wanting the Dallas Mavericks to death.
Yep.
He was getting layups, bank shots from both sides, offensive rebounding, tip-ins, mid-range shots were going down. That's the way he has to play against his Knicks team. That's the way he played against them when he gave him 40 in Madison Square Garden early this season. That's the kind of way he has to play against his team this time. But you can't have him down there playing the centers the whole game.
Yep. And they got to find a way to get it to him in that paint offensively. You said it earlier. He needs to be able to move to get down there without the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hammer this one home tomorrow, but people are, here's the deal. He scored on that dunk to go up one. They defend that well, don't foul, or not even in the foul situation. They get the rebound, foul shot.
Game's over.
Bing, bang, bing, bang, boom. You know what I mean? Like, bing, bop, boom, 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 bop, bam. That's the kind of stuff they don't understand, things. Right? That's where we're at right now, and they're down 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, and you can't have how you get Tatum the ball down low. Derek White's your guard, right? He should be the one bringing the ball up. Derek White should be the one bringing the ball up and not the one taking 11, 16 3-pointers. He has to get the ball and be the distributor and find Brown and Tatum on the low blocks when they have the matchup. So these guys aren't dribbling the ball the whole time. You got Peyton Pritchard, Drew Holiday, Derek White, probably the best trio of guards in the NBA, and none of them are bringing the ball up the court and setting up the offense. That's part of your problem. You got your two wings playing defense in the paint and then playing point guard trying to run the offense. That's not going to work against a team like this. They just slow you down. Everything's walk it up, and you end up with these low-scoring games that allows a team to hang around. So in every sport, if the other team can keep the score low, they're always going to be in it.
Said that to Jazz earlier during the show. I said, hey, this low scoring thing kind of favors the Knicks here. And I do want to bring up one thing. I went to a Knicks Celtics game a year ago as a fan. And at the final play of the game, Joe Missoula called a out of timeout, out of bounds post play to Jaylen Brown, which won the game. It was, I think it was White from out of bounds, threw a bounce pass to Jaylen Brown, who was one-on-one in the post, gave a post move, laid it up and in, and they won the game. And I just don't tell me that the Celtics don't have guys with post moves.
They do.
Don't tell me that.
They might have the most in the league. Porzingis has been one of the best low post players in the last 2 years. Jason Tatum has a filthy low post game with his back to the basket. Jaylen Brown, you saw it firsthand tonight what he did in the low post. Drew Holiday can post up every guard in this league easily. They just go away from it. For some reason, they went away from it. It was working. It was effective. It had the Knicks in foul trouble. You had a healthy lead, and you're supposed to double down on it when it's working, when you're up 20, as opposed to playing like you're the team down 20. And and after seeing it 3 or 4 trips, just, hey, quick timeout. Hey, guys, let's get back to what was working here. Instead, just doubling down, and it's almost, this is Missoula now, it's almost like I know everybody's expecting me to make the adjustment, but I'm going to dig in my heels and show them that this thing works. I'm going to double down and show, and it burned them. There's no way everybody's feeling good about themselves after this game tonight. No way.
Oh, no. Oh, no. I did see Nia Long post, let's go New York Knicks. So, if she's tweeting that, the coach definitely screwed up big time tonight. We'll go to break. We'll continue the calls here. Cerrone Battles. I had to throw that one in. Cerrone Battle. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to
Back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Cerrone, I had to go for a walk during the break. I saw Skaz and I go, man, I don't know if people are understanding this, man, but he's just I wonder if this is part of Tom Thibodeau's plan. I wonder if he's like, well, Tatum's in the post, and we're gonna play like, what did Mitchell Robinson play tonight? Let's just look at his numbers. So Mitchell Robinson he played 22 minutes. So as far as their bigs, right, they have what? Karl Anthony Towns and maybe Anunoby at times.
Yep.
So really, they play 4 wings and 1 big. Tatum is the big. Tatum is the guy that is down there, and so like they're like, all right, well, we can afford to play Mitchell Robinson and Miles McBride 40 minutes in a game because Tatum's going to be down there. And so when he gets the rebounds, because again, he had how many rebounds? He had 14 rebounds tonight. A lot. I'm not saying he was in there grinding and
yeah.
But he's down low. He's the only one down there. So then he gets the rebound and he goes in transition, right? Tries to push the basketball. And it's kind of like Field of Dreams where they won't cross the foul line. He just runs to the 3-point line, and then that's it. It's like and Thibodeau's like, yes, like the Jack Nicklaus, like, the yes, like I wonder if it's like almost working to their plan where they're also like, why don't we just take a step back from the 3-point line, because at times it's funny when Tatum has the ball, he's not necessarily at the top of the key. It's kind of like they're doing 2 guys and 2 guys. So, 2 guys up top, 2 guys in the corner, and then the big around the baseline. So really the big's doing nothing around the baseline, and it's Tatum just dribbling the ball there, and they're almost doing like a 3-2 zone where the big is just following the guy on the background. So it's like that zone where the Celtics struggled all those years to shoot the ball. They're getting the shot, they're not hitting it. And I don't want to say that like this is the mastermind of Tom Thibodeau, but it's what Coach Joe Murray's seeing over here, is that I think that they want Tatum to be down there because he's not covering a wing. And I think that when he gets the rebound, he doesn't outlet the ball. He takes it himself, stops at the 3-point line. They set up their zone, and then they can't shoot. I think that's just what's happening right now.
Yeah, what Thibodeau's doing, the smartest thing he's doing right now is doing nothing. He's literally like, oh, they're going to keep firing up these threes. Let's clog the lane. Let's make them one-dimensional. Let's help them out. They want to play one-dimensional. Let's help. I can help you do that. I can do that. I'm smart enough to do that. I know if I beat you, I'll probably get a contract extension. If I get smoked, I get fired. So I'm gonna play your game. You want to shoot a bunch of threes? Go ahead, have at it. Shoot your threes. We're going to clog the lane. You're not going to get Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown getting these dunks, getting the crowd into it, dunking on our bigs because they have a running start. You're not getting any of that because we're going to clog the lane. We're going to always have all 5 guys within 1 step of the paint. And we're going to get the reason is the Celtics aren't getting wide open threes because of amazing ball movement. They're getting wide open threes because the Knicks are giving you wide open threes. They're sagging off. The Knicks did it in the first game of the season. They did it when you played them the second time, the third time, the fourth time. That's how you hit so many threes because the Knicks, everybody who plays the Celtics got a decision to make. You're going to take the 3 away or you're going to take the drive away. The Knicks are saying, we're going to keep playing this defense until you get hot from 3. We're not going to change. This is our game plan in the first quarter. We're going to stick to it through the whole game. The Celtics are the team not sticking to their game plan, and they're playing into the Knicks' plan by shooting the threes, and not forcing them to get their plays to come out of the paint. And the Knicks are just sitting there taking the driving lanes away, and that's why Tatum and Brown are shooting such a low percentage because they can't get the driving lanes. It's just crowded Knicks plays. Tatum took that last shot. Everybody that was on the floor had a chance at it because everybody was already within a step. You got to figure out a way to get them out of that, spread them out, or say, you know what, I know you're giving us these threes, but we're going to force it anyway. And that's what they did in game 1 in the first half. And the Celtics kind of broke through that crowded defense in the lane, and the Knicks had no choice but to foul. Hart was in foul trouble. Brunson in foul trouble. Towns was in foul trouble. They had no answers for it when the Celtics were forcing their way to the basket. And then when they went back to let's settle on the three-point line, it made it easy for the Knicks. And the Knicks are standing around waiting to get the rebounds or get missed threes. And that's why Josh Hart is having an amazing series rebounding the basketball, getting easy buckets, and kind of lingering around playing the Jimmy Butler role in this series. And it's killing the Celtics.
I'm going to tell you right now, I've come down a little bit from the loss, okay? I'm coming back to my senses here. Bunch of bums. They're letting these bums score. Josh Hart. And like, you know, Karl Anthony Towns having 17 rebounds and 21 points. Come on, guys. Like, this, we used to laugh at these guys, right? Mikal Bridges, look what they gave. He's made some solid plays. Anunoby's been very good defensively. Like, Mitchell Robinson can't shoot free throws. Like, it's their bench.
He can't even hit the rim.
Yeah, their bench stinks. Like, they're up 2-0. They're resilient as hell, and I actually give them a ton of credit. And I think their coach has them in a position right now to take care of business. I just got a funny feeling the New York Lights on a Saturday afternoon. Spike Lee, who else will be there?
Oh, it'll be typical Knicks for them to go out there and lose every game.
But I mean,
home.
There's going to be some flexing going on, right, Skaz? They're going to be dudes are going to be boasting their chest.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get everybody under the sun. All the Sopranos guys will be there. You'll have Ben Stiller courtside.
Stephen A. Smith will be there.
The SVU, SVU cast will be there.
But like they're gonna be like peacocking. You know what I'm saying?
Rightfully so, Joe.
Hey,
rightfully so.
Right? I got it. I'm just trying to say, a lot of pressure on that team with all those people there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the season comes down to Saturday. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, you lose, it's over, but you win on Saturday. I think the pressure shifts strongly on the Knicks. Obviously, long way to go from there, but two absolute collapses from the Celtics. I think Missoula, obviously, Tatum is going to be the story because he's Tatum, but I think Missoula is what I'm more interested in Game 3 because I believe, I think the players will do what the players do and kind of bounce back, but I wonder, what does Missoula have? What can he do in Game 3 to, create better looks, to draw up some, plays down the stretch, call his timeouts when you see something breaking down. Like, even if they won tonight, I think we'd still be largely crushing them because of how they've played. But Missoula, with 6 seconds left or whatever it was, that play breaks down. He doesn't call the timeout. To me, that's really the crux of the issue right there. Is you're being widely outcoached by a coach who you, Joe, fired.
I already fired him
months ago.
I had Mike Malone as the new head coach. Skaz, you're right. I'm taking L's. Hey, he
loses.
Yeah, he loses. He's done, sir.
He go up to 2-0 and lose this series. He's done.
He's done. Mike Malone. I already hired Mike Malone.
Where's Doc Rivers when you need him to coach a team? I'd love him to be the coach of the Knicks right now.
Listen, this isn't. I give the resiliency of New York is every team taps out against the Celtics. They do. They all do. They haven't. And it's easy when you go up 20 and you're the Boston Celtics. It was easy. Maybe the path was easy. Maybe it was, Cerrone. I bet you play the games that are in front of you. But I just think that when you do play that kind of ball and it works, you're unbeatable. You got to make adjustments when it doesn't work.
Yeah, and this is very similar to the Pacers series, except they just found a way to win those games at the end.
Yeah,
but that Pacers series. The Jaylen Brown 3, it was the same scenario. Last year against the Miami Heat, I mentioned it the other day, they lost Game 2. People forget. They lost to the Heat in the first round in Game 2 because they didn't make adjustments. And they got Porzingis gets hurt in Game 3. We're like, oh, here we go. Typical Celtics, Heat series. But the Celtics ended up getting their shots going, and that was the end of that. Cavs games were very close in that series. Cavs injuries kind of crept in, but those games were kind of close. But that Pacers series, every game came down to execution at the end and then blowing leads and letting the Pacers hang around. So the signs were there. When you got to the finals, it was Luka basically quitting on defense that made it easy for them to win those games. But I think the Celtics team, okay, you want to focus on the positives. The Knicks aren't scoring a ton of points. You're playing good defense. OG was 2 for 9 tonight. Tatum shut that down. You want to give him credit for that? Tatum, the wings, whoever, they shut OG down. Bridges, as hot as he was, he still ended the game 6 for 18. Jalen Brunson was 6 for 19, 31%, 22% from three. Bridges, 25% from three. OG, 25% from three. You kept Brunson off the line. Only 3 for 4 tonight from the foul line. Mitchell Robinson, I would love to see him take more free throws, but with all that hacker of Robinson, he only took 1 free throw tonight. I don't understand that. Towns, you kept Towns off the foul line. He was 3 for 3, but you got to keep him off the glass. He only had 3 offensive rebounds, but you got to keep him off the glass. You got to look up and say, okay, we held this Knicks team to 91 points. We're keeping Jalen Brunson in check for this series. Bridges hasn't really got it going. He had a good fourth quarter, hit a few shots in a row, but overall he's 6 for 18. You got to look at that and say we're playing defense. Okay, what can we do? We got to figure out a way. Can we get to 110 points? If we get to 105, 110, we can beat this team every single night.
Yes.
How do we do that? First half of this game, they had 50 shot attempts that dropped in the second half. Get more shot attempts. Play with more pace. Push the tempo. Run to the basket, not to the 3-point line. You do that and try and say, let's turn this into a high-scoring game like you did in all the other games you played against the Knicks this year, 120, 130 points. If we can get to 110, this team cannot hang with us, and that's what they have to do, and that's got to be the goal. And you have to play with pace, you have to get to the foul line, and you have to get to the basket. It's that simple.
I have put the Joe Murray research team to work. The Celtics, their last 13 playoff games, this is their last 13, so this would be what, 2 and then 5? So 7, and then their last year. So they've scored 120 points or more just one time. They've scored between 100 and 109 9 times. Mm-hmm. They've scored less than 100 in 3 games. I would bet that they've lost those games where they're under 100. They lost
maybe Orlando.
Yeah, tonight they lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's 1. Orlando, yep.
Yeah.
2, and then maybe Dallas last year in the game 4.
Yeah, they got blown out by Dallas in that game.
So they need to score
110.
They need to score basically really more than 100.
Mm-hmm. And you beat this team. The Knicks can't score 110 on you, not without getting overtime.
Exactly. So that's something that we should be mentioning is that, like, the New York Knicks, for a pretty decent roster, don't score a lot of points. They give up a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to be in the 90s with New York, you got to close them out. And, hey, listen, there's 2 teams. Between Halliburton's ascension right now and what's going on here with I give Bridges almost the credit. Like, the box score, it's not beautiful, right? But
he saved them.
He saved them in 2 straight games.
Yeah, he saved them.
So I'm wondering if he's just that guy. Like, that's why everybody likes him. Maybe that's why he's the max guy. This is why you give up. I think overall he's a decent player. I just don't have him on a high tier. I don't.
Yeah,
but he's made 2 huge plays.
When he's on, he's their version of Derek White. He's going to be there every game. He's going to play every long minutes. He doesn't get hurt. He's going to find a way. Game 1, how did he end game 1? He steals it from Jaylen Brown. How did he close out tonight? He hits the 3 in overtime, steals it from Jaylen Brown in game 1. Tonight, he scores 14 points in the fourth quarter, steals game 2. He does the little things that the stuff you don't see on the box score, but he saved their season and kept them going. Him and OG have been huge for them in their own little way. And the Celtics are kind of, by them focusing so much on Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns, it's allowing the Josh Harts to be effective in OG in the first game. Play these guys straight up. Treat Josh Hart like the bum he is. Treat OG like the guy that doesn't have a lot of offensive skills. Treat Bridges like treat Bridges like he's a good offensive player. Put pressure on them. Play these guys straight up. And if Jalen Brunson goes for 35-40, so be it. But nobody else is going to go off. I think in each one of these games, you've had a guy unexpectedly give you 20 plus. Jalen Brunson tonight. I mean, not Brunson, excuse me. Josh Hart tonight. Last game was OG. You can't let these little role players light you up because it's giving me Miami Heat 2 years ago, Max Strus and Caleb Martin destroying the Celtics. It wasn't Jimmy Butler. He was the name. It was Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson. Those are the guys that beat the Celtics in that series, and that's what's happening in this series right here. Don't put too much focus on the stars. Play these guys straight up.
We've been, I like this, Cerrone. This is like, we don't have a lot of this anymore. After the game, questioning the coach's moves, this impact kind of, this is what changed the game. We haven't gotten a lot of that, right? The Patriots have been down the last couple of years. The Red Sox, some of the decisions don't matter, right? Like
a little purgatory thing going on.
Yeah. But this tonight, man, like watching our chat channel of the over 500 people in there going crazy. Our phone line, Skaz, shout out to Skaz by himself back there tonight handling all this stuff. But like this is what I love. Like this is like passion. I've missed this. And you know what? I as the show's gone on, I've brought up maybe a lot of tweaks or things that could change or maybe why something's happening. I'm going to stick to it, Cerrone, and no one's going to want to hear it, but I'm going to say it. Anything we've talked about tonight as far as changes or anything else, none of it matters if they just shoot better.
It's really it. It's the thing I know people hate to hear it. It's a make or miss league. You miss all your wide open shots, you lose. Meanwhile, Bridges is hitting all the contested shots. They're gonna win that game. And again, as bad as you shot the ball tonight and in game one, you still had chances to win it. One possession games is right there in front of you. Yeah, the shots are gonna fall eventually. Are they gonna fall for everybody? I don't know. Eventually, they started falling in the Orlando series, and you saw the results of that. But somebody has to get hot for this team to keep winning. I don't think Derek White shooting this high volume of threes, first twos, is the way to do it. But I think Derek White getting to the basket and being an overall scorer, mid-range, low post, driving, getting out on the break, fast break points, more block shots and steals, things that we like to see from Derek, forcing a ton of turnovers. I think that's how they have to do it. Jaylen Brown. We need to see Jaylen Brown out on the break, finishing on these dunks, getting the crowd into it, pumping people up. Jason Tatum, get him in transition to get some easy ones. Get him to the foul line like you did against Orlando. We've seen the adjustments. They just did it against Orlando. Got to the foul line, got downhill, got in transition. Jason Tatum getting dunks at the rim. That's how this team has to play. And you have to be quick with the substitutions. Al Horford, you don't have it going tonight? We're going to need you to sit down. Luke Cornett, you're 3 for 4. You're rebounding the ball. You got 8 rebounds tonight. We need you to play a little more minutes. Peyton Pritchett, when you have it going, we got to keep him out there. Holiday, you're 4 for 6 in the first half, posting guys up. We need you to keep that going. Tonight might be your night. He might be the mismatch of the series. You have to figure that out before it's too late. But it comes down to making some of these open shots, not all of them, but shooting a little closer to your average, and you could win this series. You have to go back Saturday, get to your average, get easier buckets, and try and find a way to hold this lead until the fourth quarter and kill the Knicks run. And if you get that Knicks crowd to turn on them and start booing that team and that coach, you might win that series. That's all it takes. You have to turn the momentum in your favor.
All right, we're going to go to break. Final break of the night. We'll hit our headline here. No, it's not our final break. Feels like it should be, though. I have a thought. I had a thought. It's regarding the series and the NBA and New York versus Boston. We'll do all that coming up here after the headline on the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics trail 2-0 now in the series after their 91-90 loss. Only got 13 points tonight from Jason Tatum at 4. in every series, there's for me, there's always a plan B. I got an ace up my sleeve. You know what I'm saying? You know, and this is where my brain goes when it comes to the NBA. But two of the better markets, right? New York and Boston. You're going to get a Saturday afternoon basketball game, which whatever. I'm fine with it. You know, well, I'm telling you though, the old ace in the sleeve is a man who made his return tonight in the Western Conference, and his name is Scott Foster. The old ace in the sleeve. So let's just say it's 2-1, right? All of a sudden, who's game 4?
Yeah.
Or game 5? I'm just saying the NBA has had their number 1 seeds all fall in the first game.
Yep.
They have a big influence in the way these things go. And that's the old ace in the hole, baby. Scott Foster, the extender.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing the NBA wants is this series to be over quickly.
I'm being serious.
It's because there's nothing attractive left in the Eastern Conference if the Knicks move on. I mean, it's the Knicks, whatever, but their fan base is basically just New York, and that's really it. There's no Knicks fans anywhere else. But yeah, I mean, I can see the refs playing a part in this. But you know what has to happen for that to work, Joe? Celtics got to go to the basket. They're not going to let you shoot free throws if you're shooting 63s.
Exactly.
You have to force these NBA referees to help you out. If not, you can put all the extenders out there you want. But if you miss 45 3-pointers, you're not going to the foul line. And it's that Jalen Brunson tonight, I think, learned that lesson. They won the game. Jalen Brunson flopped on a 3 about 5 times and hit the floor like he was in pain trying to draw fouls. And the ref said, no, we're not helping you out on this. So I think the Celtics, if you want the refs to help you, you got to go to the basket. It's that simple.
All right, Cerrone, thank you for your analysis tonight. Great job.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back. I'll talk to you game 4.
Okay.
Because I know Saturday, I don't know what the hell's going on. I won't be here, though. But maybe game 4, we get a different result. Skaz, great job as well. Hey, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray.